We'd like to give a special shout out and thank you to Berry Balance, one of the sponsors of our podcast. They are our go-to for bariatric vitamins and supplements and protein waters.
The protein waters, you guys know I love my waters. They are amazing. They are 12 ounces and they're 20 grams of protein. And then as far as the vitamins go, I had gastric sleeve. And so they have vitamins per your surgery. They also offer bundles and they also offer auto ship. So like every month, my vitamins come in just on a rotation. I don't have to do anything. So I do the calcium chews. They have lemon and they have caramel. Those are the ones I've tried and love. They also have a multivitamin that has extra iron in it, which I get because I'm always a little bit low on my iron. So definitely love Berry Balance. Their vitamins and their protein waters. They're my favorite.
So whether you've had VSG or gastric bypass surgery, Berry Balance has got you covered.
So to get your protein waters or your bariatric vitamins, Berry Balance is the website, berrybalance.com. They also have a protein waters page, Dr. Smith's protein waters. Everything is available on berrybalance.com, even the waters, but the waters do have their own website. So
go get yours today. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Transform Your Life with Teresa and Tonya. I am Teresa Gallegos.
And I am Tonya Spangolo, and we have a very special guest today. We have our plastic surgery guru, plus our friend, plus our podcast producer, Mavi Rodriguez.
Hi, guys. I'm
Hello.
happy to be with y'all.
We've got like 50 questions, so let's start right now. So
I'm
we're
ready.
going to do like a
I'm
plastic
ready.
surgery survival guide is what this episode is going to be. Like all the must-haves, the what-ifs, all the things. Let's just get right into it and start talking about our surgeries that Mavi is helping us with and helping prepare us for.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is so important and so needed. Just like we were just talking about in the weight loss community, there is a prevalent lack of information and knowledge regarding plastic surgery. What we do know are the myths, right? Everyone's like, ooh, you have to be rich and fancy to get plastic surgery. No, plastic surgery can be for anyone. And we are actually like Mavi created this entire business, her podcast, Big Butts, No Lies podcast. Her life revolves around supporting people, women, through their plastic surgery journey to feel empowered and to get the best care possible, because there is such a, I think, social stigma on plastic surgery. So you're not only helping to remove that social stigma, but you also provide information and massive amounts of resources, and you literally guide your girls through their entire journey. So, I mean, you're honestly helping save lives, and create these amazing positive experiences, which combats all the negative crap that you hear about plastic surgery all over the internet. So we're super excited to pick your brain.
Yeah, and it's like a gap. I think it's like a gap. You know, there's that gap between how many times is too many times to call your doctor because you have 1,000 questions. What do I need? Where do I get what I need? Or is there something that I forgot to ask? And that's where you come in. It's that gap between you can only contact your doctor so many times in a week because they're so busy and you're waiting on them to get back to you. And with you, it's like, no, instead of calling your doctor for every single thing, you're right there. You have all the information, just waiting, just ask and you shall receive, kind of like that.
Exactly. I'm so glad that you guys see everything in such a light, because let me tell y'all that when I launched, I talked to a mentor and I told him I'm going to launch a podcast about plastic surgery and female empowerment. And he told me, isn't that like two words that contradict each other, like plastic surgery and female empowerment? And I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
And no, and I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove it to you that women who have plastic surgery are empowered women because they have to make decisions for themselves and put themselves first. And they have to put aside all the fear, all of the unknown, the fear, scared, like all of these feelings of what if something bad happens, to, you know what, everything's going to work out for me. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to do my research and I'm going to have surgery and it's going to come out great. And it makes me so happy that you guys saw everything that grew from my podcast, which was me just saying, hey, there's such a need here and I need to find a way to fill it.
Mavi, what you do is absolutely female and women empowerment. And I agree with you that in society, there is that clash where people think if you have plastic surgery, you are weak or you are suffering from low self-esteem or poor body image. The two can coexist together. They are not mutually exclusive. And when you go into any kind of medical situation, historically, people feel disempowered because here you are, you're in need of something, you're in need of information, of treatment, of support. And you don't know, you don't have the education, you don't know the resources, and you have to rely on professionals within the medical community to guide you through this journey. And as Tonya already pointed out, most of the time, they are not attainable. They are not available for you. And you get people who go to plastic surgeons who maybe are not board certified. They just look for a discount. They want to go to the Dollar Tree and get their surgery. And this is where someone like you has gathered so much information, brainstormed ways in which you can make a difference in people's lives and empower women through guiding them through their surgery, not shaming them, not talking them out of it, not telling them all the horror stories. You're literally stripping away all of that shock factor that comes with plastic surgery and kind of helping to remove the stigma and the taboos. And I mean, just when I met you, was just recovering. Was it before or after my surgery?
I think it was right after your surgery.
So right after I had my 47 pounds of skin removed from my abdomen, Mavi and I met. She had me on her podcast, and the minute I met you, and I had so many people coming at me at that time, like wanting my attention, wanting to talk to me. And I was like, oh, this girl is different. I love that you were Latina owned business, women empowerment, and you were literally just there like to support. And you were giving me information and like trying to lift me up when everybody else was trying to get what they could out of me. You were like, you need to be doing this, like this. And you gave me a platform to share my story, not only the physical aspect of having surgery, but the emotional, mental, and spiritual aspects that come along with that. And that to me shows your depth of your character and how far you're willing to go to make your girls feel comfortable. So let's dive into our little so-called survival guide for plastics. And guys, if you love this, we can do more episodes like this. So I am having in less than 30 days, I am having a arm and breast lift with implants. We're doing liposuction as well. Miss Tonya Spanglow, in a week later from me, September 9th, right?
Yes.
Tonya, what are you having?
So I'm having a thigh lift, and I'm kind of contemplating 2 other procedures that are smaller than that, but for sure I'm getting a thigh lift on the 9th. So
and
I'm excited about that.
Mavi has actually guided us through deciding what to get. Initially, I was only going to get a breast lift. And then Mavi was like, we talked about it, getting breast implants. Mavi literally guided me down to the decision whether or not to partner with a certain company about the breast implants. She gave me advice about that. And then we talked about, do I throw the arms in with it and the reasons why behind it? Literally, I wouldn't trust anybody else to tell me. Like I went to you and Tonya. We literally, guys, we get together to record our podcast and we spend 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after all gossiping and chatting about plastics and picking Mavi's brain and going, what do we do? And then when we hang up, I will be texting her in our WhatsApp group going, Mavi, should I do this? What do I need?
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for you. You have literally helped us to narrow down and pinpoint what type of surgery we should get, the pros and the cons. And
what do we need?
What do we need? Yes.
Absolutely.
So what do we need? Let's jump into that. What do we need?
Okay.
For different procedures, of course.
So for the procedures that y'all are having this round, it's totally different ball game than the first round of procedures. So for the people out there, for your girls, the most complicated recovery, I would say, is usually an abdominoplasty. And when you have an abdominoplasty, you can expect to have at least 2 weeks of intense recovery. So with that said, the procedures that you guys are having this round are a lot less, not that they're less invasive, but the recovery time is not as bad, specifically because both of you guys with your own procedures are having skin removal, not any muscle work. So that difference right there is going to lessen the pain that you're feeling more from like the abdominoplasty pain, which is like internal deep pain, muscle pain, to more of a surface stinging. Let me think of the words. It feels more like burny, stingy.
It does.
Pulling type of feelings. So it's very different. But what you do need is for both of you guys are gonna have to sleep with your arms elevated. So lots of pillows. So Teresa, you're going to need lots of pillows to make sure you have your arms elevated. It's really common to have swelling in the hands after an arm surgery. Not so much with breast, but for after your arms, you can expect for your hands to get swollen. Sometimes your fingers will get stiff. It depends.
They call it marshmallow hands, right?
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. I'm going to look like the marshmallow puff girl.
Yeah. And depending on where your garment lands, so if you have a compression garment and it stops here, you'll notice the swelling like below where that mark is. If it comes all the way down to your wrist, you'll notice it all at your hand. And that's actually the same for your legs, Tonya. You'll notice the swelling will be tighter where your compression garment is and where it stops. Below that, you'll notice more swelling. So I like to recommend the full, like down to your calf garment for your thigh lift, just because you don't want that right at your knee. It could compress a little bit too much and keep that swelling up the upper part of your leg. So I would say get the garment that comes below your knee, half.
Right. Dr. Rednam said like 2 sizes too small of leggings. Like that's like, think about it as like just super tight leggings.
Yeah.
But you giving us this information, that also helped us to decide what surgery to get. So when you are deciding to have plastic surgery, recovery reality is something that you need to be aware of. Do you have the proper support team? What is the layout of your house and the supplies and things that you're going to need in your home? I had no idea when I had my first surgery, I would have to use a walker because I had so much skin removed and I had the abdominal surgery. With the thigh lift, I had no idea I was going to struggle getting up on our bed, like having to use the step ladder and things like that. And the recovery time, most people work. Okay, how intense is it going to be and how long am I going to be down for? Those are factors that you need to know in order to have plastic surgery. But if you go even deeper than that, this is what you're so amazing at, is that the aftercare and the prep is so multi-layered. There are so many things to it. And I know personally, as does both of us, because we've all had plastic surgery, it can be very overwhelming mentally, physically, emotionally. I already have been finding myself going, okay, we're on a countdown. I need to get X, Y, and Z lined up and taken care of. I need to have this and this. And you can get overwhelmed, which then causes you to get stressed physically and mentally and emotionally, which is exactly what you want to try to not do. And so having somebody who acts as the guru or the source of information and keeps it real. Like, it's not like talking to a doctor with you. You're like keeping it real. You've been there, you've done that, you've helped so many people. That helps to not only make a decision for a person like me and Tonya, but also I now know, okay, this is what Mike is going to have to do. This is what Bobby's going to have to do after surgery. Just like we're in between recording, guys, and she's asking, okay, what does Bobby like to do? Does he like to watch TV? Because you already know the man is going to get stir crazy and bored sitting up in the house with Miss Spanglo recovering for a week. So these are things that Mavi can say to you that your surgeon and your team, they're not going to have the time to go into detail with all the nuances that it takes to go through a plastic surgery and recovery phase. And that is, again, one of the million reasons why I adore you so much. You see things so layered, which is exactly how it is. Having surgery is not black and white. It is not like, oh, I'm going to do this and then this. No, ma'am. It is a lot harder. I was looking at your recovery space and I was like, because Mavi has a recovery suite for people. When you go and have surgery, you can stay in her suite. And literally, now that I know, because I've had plastic surgery, I'm looking, okay, is the shower a bathtub where you have to step over? Is it a walk-in? Is the bed, does she have the accommodations? And I looked at my recovery suite and I saw there's 2 bathrooms. One of them has a tub and I panicked and I was like, oh gosh, I don't want to be high as a kite on pain meds a week after surgery, having to step over a tub. And those are things that you only think of when somebody brings it to your attention. I have pets. And when I went to have my last surgery, Mavi was like, do not, you were sending me the thing about birds and some lady got a horrible infection because she got bird crap in her wound or something. And I was like, oh, Mike, no animals. You are not bringing the bird in the bedroom. I'm not touching the bird. I would never have known that I needed to not have the dogs, who are my babies, on the floor or sleeping on the bed with me. It's things like that that you do not even think of. Like, it is crazy to me. Miss Spanglo, go ahead. I'm going on about all the little details.
No, but all of that stuff matters. So I'm curious, what is the number one thing you think, Mavi, that's like missed that people don't think of? And then when they get into recover, they're like, oh my gosh, I forgot this. What do you think it is that people don't think of that like everyone needs?
Let me go back. Let me tell you guys where all of this kind of began. When I was a patient coordinator, I was helping patients book their surgeries and plan their surgery journey. And what I realized was when I was in the office, there was only so much that I could do for my patients, from working my job and not just having one person, but hundreds of people that we're keeping track of and following up on. And realizing that a lot of these patients, I would see them for their consultation, they would book their surgery, I would see them at pre-op, and then I would see them at their first and second post-op. And I would hear things like, oh my God, it hurt so much more than I thought, or I didn't realize I was gonna not be able to sleep comfortably in my bed, or different things like that, that I realized that we did talk about these things, but it's different to talk about it than to actually put it into action of like, oh, okay, this is why I need to sleep in a position where I'm halfway sitting up, or this is what they meant by I'm going to have a lot of swelling and inflammation and that salt makes it worse. This is what they mean. So all of these different things that they were figuring out as they're going through the process, I was realizing it's because they don't know what they have to do. We can only instruct them so much, but actually getting it done at home, it's a different reality for every person that's walking through having surgery. So the main thing that people, I think, underestimate that they need is time to recover, because people think that they're going to have surgery and be right back at it in a week and, go on to the beach and go do this and everything's going to be back to normal. And that's not the reality of it.
Right.
You need a good amount of recovery time. I like to say, at least if you have a birthday, a wedding, an event, a specific time, a thing that you're trying to get ready for, give yourself at least 3 months before this event. If it's your wedding, if you're going to be part of a wedding, it's okay. You can give yourself 2 months, but if you're the bride, give yourself 3 months so you can give yourself some time to recover. Don't book it. Don't come look for surgery 2 weeks before your wedding, because that's not enough time. You need time to recover. And the second thing, which could also be the first, that I put it on the supply list, but they can't buy it and I can't give it to them, is patience. Patience.
100%, especially I think with the overall results. because my abdominoplasty, it took 8 to 10 months before I saw the actual results. My thigh lift was a good 6 months, and you're going to get comments from people. You're going to look in the mirror and you're going to be like, well, and this was the stigma why I was afraid of plastic surgery, because you hear like women are so unhappy. I don't like my body. I don't like my results afterwards. And I'm like, how long has it been? It's been 4 weeks.
Yeah,
well, ma'am,
3 days.
Sir, you're still swollen from surgery, honey. Your body has gone into shock and it is trying to recover. And you are literally physically swollen. And had I judged my results from my abdominoplasty from 3 months or even 6 months, those aren't valid. Like I literally can look at a timeline and you can see the swelling going down, the body taking shape. Like patience, 1,000,000%. You have got to be patient with your doctor, with your results. But also I think there's an element that people don't talk about is the mental health. Like so many people I know of are like, oh, I get really depressed. I get really depressed after surgery. And I'm like, well, that to me should be like a duh factor. Like you're on drugs, your body's going through a lot. But in the day-to-day aspects of life, like you're saying, when your life is lifing, the reality is that you can find yourself mentally not feeling good on top of physically because your body has gone through so much. And if you're not aware of that and you're not prepared to cope with that, it can be really challenging. Like I've talked to women who are like, I am severely depressed. And then that leads to them not taking care of themselves physically, checking out of their own recovery. And I know with you, that's something you want to avoid. You talk so much about supporting your girls all the way through it. And I feel like that is what is missing, is an overall discussion and representation of that kind of support, because what you're going through is really hard. Plastic surgery is really hard. It is not easy. Yes, it's an elective procedure, but like something for Tonya and I, this has been a journey about changing our lives from the inside out. And that brings me to the next thing. The mind does not keep pace with the body. And how do you talk to your girls about this? Because me going to sleep and waking up 3 hours later and being 47 pounds lighter, I had panic attacks waking up in the faja for the first time. I had panic attacks when I went to move my legs or when I went to shift my belly and it wasn't there. Can you speak on the mental and emotional aspect of it? Because people just think you're going to wake up and be like, I look good. That's not what happens.
No,
That's not what happens.
It's just in the whole waking up. Like,
yes,
we're
it's
about
hard.
to get, I'm going to ask you, like, what is the list of things that I need? What does Teresa need? What do I need? But what she just talked about, like the mental of it, all of that there's no list for that. Like there is no list that there's no checklist to make sure you don't get depressed or make sure that you don't have false pretenses of how you're going to look. And then you see how you really look. And like, there's nothing that can prepare you for that first look in the mirror when you think you're going to look one way. And it's just, you don't look that way. You look amazing. Like I thought I looked amazing, but also I wasn't used to seeing, when they took the bandages off, all the scars, and you're swollen, you've got drains, and there's so much that we could talk about this for like 5 hours and not get done because there's so much preparation, and then nothing can prepare you for that shock factor of that first look in the mirror. Yeah. Like I just asked you before we started, do you have full length mirrors? Because I'm going to be staying in your recovery suite. And you were like, yes, everywhere, because everyone wants that first look. You can't help but look when you've got something done and you have to look in the mirror. So I think that's funny that we were just talking about that. And now here we are bringing it up again.
Yes, because I mean, who doesn't get off the table and is like so excited to just see like, oh my God, I just went through all of this planning and paid all this money. What is it going to look like? So what I like to tell my girls is it's more of a process before surgery that you're getting ready for. There's multiple things that you can do, I feel, to help yourself stay in a positive mindset, which I think is really important after surgery. I think it's easy to spiral of like, oh my God, what did I do to myself? This is going to take longer to recover than what I thought. These are thoughts that I had myself when I had my surgery of like, oh my God, and I had been working and seeing patients recover for over a decade before I had my own surgery. And it still hit me like a ton of bricks for when it was me. And I was, oh, this recovery is going to take longer than what I thought it was going to be. It's not going to be as easy as a recovery as I expected. So it's very easy to spiral into a negative thought pattern. So what I like to tell my girls is, number one, you have to have patience with yourself. Don't be upset with yourself when you are on this emotional roller coaster and you're going up and down, and one day you're happy and one day you're regretting and one day you're so excited about what's to come, and the next day you're like, these results suck, and then the next day you're like, oh my god, I look so good, and then the next day you're like, oh, how much longer, like I'm ready to get back to normal, I'm ready to get out of this thing. It's such a roller coaster, and you have to be patient with yourself, because you're just going with the flow too. This is your first time going on this emotional roller coaster. So being patient with yourself, I think, is very important. The second thing is preparing yourself physically to recover, to have a speedy recovery. I feel like the longer it takes you to recover, the easier it is for you to get depressed or more depressed, because it's taking you longer to recover. So if you physically are at the best you've ever been physically, and you're eating enough nutrients and proteins to help your body heal, that the faster you can recover. It's almost like you're trying to outrun the storm. You see the rain cloud coming and you're running, like, let me get out of here before it gets to me. So the better prepared you are before surgery, the better your recovery is going to be. Something that I've seen so many times over the years is women who are like, I'm going to have surgery tomorrow, and they're not prepared. They haven't really done the research of what it's going to be like. And I can't tell you how many women I've met that go into surgery and are completely surprised by the recovery of it, which the recovery is huge. It's the biggest portion of the surgery. After being on the table, the recovery is the most important thing.
Well, yeah, I think though, because people look up stories or watch videos of people who have had the surgeries that someone's going to have. Like me, I know I have. I'm watching a creator right now, and she's recovering from a thigh lift. And everyone is in my comments like, you need to go watch her, because look how rough. Do you really want this? Because look how rough her recovery is. Like, she looked like death in like the day after her video. Like, we were concerned for her health. Do you really want this? And I want to be like, well, I've gone through this before, and that was way worse than what I'm going to do now. I had my fleur-de-lis before with the lower body lift, and that's nothing. I mean, the thigh lift is going to be nothing compared to that, but everyone is different. Just because someone is struggling, I want to come back and be like, no, I watched Teresa was up the next day sweeping her kitchen because we were FaceTiming, and I was like, what are you doing? Sit down. And she's got a broom in her hand, and I'm just like, you're supposed to be in bed. And she was like, no, but if I can be up walking and I feel fine, I just have a little bit of a burning sensation, is what she told me after her thigh lift. So that is the same surgery, but two very different recoveries. And I think that people just cling to these creators they watch or stories they look up or the before and afters. And I think they get this picture in their mind and this image of, oh, well, she recovered and it was a breeze, and that's what's going to happen to me. And so then they get depressed thinking, well, how come I'm not bouncing back? Because I thought I was going to bounce back like she did. And they're forgetting that it's just like when we lose weight. It's just the same thing. Like, everybody is different. You know, I may react one way to anesthesia and someone else might react a completely different way. There's so many different variables when it comes to your recovery. And I think, yeah, you can watch and look up these stories. I think they're inspirational, and I think you should, to get an idea. And I've gotten lots of ideas by watching people recover from their thigh lifts that I've been looking up. So many videos are out there. But at the same time, I know in the back of my mind, hey, just because this one made it look easy doesn't mean it's going to be. Just because this one made it look like it's very difficult also doesn't mean it's going to be. You know, you never know how it's going to be when it actually is you that's recovering. I think that we have to keep that in mind.
I love that, because It's just like relating it to the weight loss journey. We just recorded an episode the other day. Weight loss is not a one size fits all journey. And guess what? Plastic surgery is not either. Your needs are going to be different. Your body is different. Your mental health, your physical health, your recovery, everything is dependent on you and your own circumstances. And that is so important to take care of. And I love that we are addressing the things that are not on a list here, like the survival guide, honestly. And this is just like when it comes down to a weight loss journey, so much of it is mental and emotional. I know that when I woke up from my first surgery, but leading up to it, I was healthy at the time because I had been losing weight. I was active. However, I had no one guiding me on nutrition. I had no one guiding me on mental health. I had no one guiding me on physical preparation. I just knew, because I'm a spiritual person, that I started practicing visualization. I started putting myself in that situation because I wanted to prepare myself. That was a game changer. As far as nutrition and movement go, I was just doing what I was normally doing. I feel like my recovery would have been easier the first time around had I had someone telling me, like, this is how much you need to eat. This is how much you need to move. And your doctors tell you, but again, just like Mavi said, you take it all in. But then when you leave, processing it on your own when you are actually in the situation is two different things. And going into round 2 of plastics, I bounced back because I had all of these women in the community finally. The first one, I was going in it alone. The whole world was watching, but I was alone. The second time, I had all these women saying, okay, these are the types of foods you need to eat. This is the mental health. I started getting therapy. This is the kind of movement, all those things. And I was prepared because I had talked to women like you. I had the information and I bounced back so quickly. Now here we are leading into my third round. I already switched up my diet a few months ago. I tightened it up is what I say, because I already eat healthy, but I tightened it up. I'm focusing more on whole foods, proteins. I'm hydrating with electrolytes like crazy. I'm moving my body. And most importantly, I'm getting myself mentally and emotionally prepared. I know how to prepare my house now. I know how to prepare my partner, my care team. All of that did not just fall into my brain. It's experience and talking with people who have the resources. And that honestly can make the difference between a really difficult, challenging recovery and one that is more successful. And I remember going back to really quick about waking up from surgery with expectations. Because I had that big apron, we did not know that I was going to wake up with scoliosis. And I knew beforehand that I had scoliosis because they did the x-rays and they weren't able to do the injection, like an epidural type thing for my surgery. They weren't able to do it because my spine. But I bring this up because I expected to look perfect after surgery. I expected, like people do, like even though I was flawed, I went into it with unrealistic expectations, and I did not take into account my entire medical history. I did not take into account that I had beaten up my body for 25 years. And so coming out of it and seeing myself still, in my eyes, so flawed, and seeing that curvature, that was all I could focus on. I did not celebrate enough the fact that I had just had 47 pounds removed and saved my own life and did all these things. All I focused on was this horrible curvature in my spine that I saw. And that set me into a depression. That made me stop eating. It made me stop drinking. It made me stop moving my body, and I almost died from it. So going in with realistic expectations and having someone on your side to support you through that and to know you have to be patient. That honestly was the biggest thing for me, because round 1, that broke my heart to wake up and see that. And then to hear that from people like, oh, well, you're crooked. Not like, you look amazing. Look what you've done. You're crooked. Stand up. Like, that has been one of the hardest things to deal with. And I feel like for our listeners, so many of them have previous medical conditions, pre-existing conditions. They have brutalized their bodies like I have. And to go into it knowing that it's okay. You don't have to expect, I'm not going to come out looking like Khloe Kardashian. I'm not going to come out looking like any of those girls. And that's okay. I'm going to come out the best version of myself. That's like, to me, that's a big message that I always want to hit home, because I hate for women to wake up from surgery or then 6 months down the line and not be happy with their results because they think they're going to look perfect. And You know, I don't seek perfection, and I know that neither of you girls do. You want to be the best version of yourself. So can you speak to that a little bit, Mavi? Because I think that mental and emotional with the expectations, like the thigh lift and all that stuff, that's not going to get rid of all the flaws that are there. It's going to fix things.
I think you brought up the perfect example of something that I see often, which is when women are planning their surgery at first, their first priority is, I just want to make it out safe. I just want to make it out of surgery safe. And then once they get over that hurdle of, okay, I'm awake, everything went fine, then it's the expectations of the procedure start to get more and more and more and more looking for perfection. And I say it on my show all the time. My girls know it. I call it a slippery slope down into body dysmorphia, because you're continuously looking and looking and looking for imperfections, and maybe something that you didn't like now got fixed, but your body is still scanning from head to toe. And now you might hyperfixate on something else. So I like to tell my girls to, before they go into surgery, when they're doing the mindset prep, to write themselves a letter of what they want out of this surgery, what they're hoping for. And a lot of times it's, I want to make it safe and sound out of my surgery, help my surgeon have the best judgment, and give me the best results that they can realistically with what I have. I hope my incisions heal wonderfully. All of these things that are really important that can go wrong, that after surgery, women are like, oh, well, I wish they would have pulled me tighter. And it's like, well, if they had pulled you tighter, then you would have had thick scars or incisions that opened, or you healed great because they didn't pull so tight that your incision opened up. And those are things that start to happen after surgery, of looking for perfection and forgetting that all of these other things were avoided. Incisions opening, necrosis, belly buttons dying, all of these different things that got avoided. And then we're focusing on, oh, well, there's one little tiny pocket of fat right here that if they had just gotten it. So be patient with yourself. Write your letter, write your expectations of what you want from this surgery and how you hope that this surgery will change what your day-to-day life looks like. And then just when you're in the pits during recovery, pull your letter out and read it and remind yourself of like, okay, I'm fine. Everything's going to be fine. I'm healing. And I think it would be ridiculous to say that every person that has surgery is going to get a home run in the first try and the first time. A lot of people who have surgery one time go in for revision surgery or go in for more surgery. It's returning patients are most popular, because now that fear is gone and it's like, oh, I can fix that. I bet I can fix this.
You know what, Mavi, what you just said, and this was the whole point of the episode, the survival guide. And I think we're focusing a lot on the mental and emotional aspect. But what you just said to me just was like an aha moment for me. You said to focus on what it is that you want to get out of the surgery. And I think where people go wrong is, you're right, they're focusing on the minutia of the body. Okay. So like my thigh lift, I wanted those rolls to be gone. Tonya wants Rob and Bob to be gone. Are we still going to have cellulite? Am I still going to have varicose veins? I am. But this is what you just helped me with. I'm thinking in my mind, okay, my breasts and my arms, why do I want them done? I want my breasts to be done because I want to be confident when I get naked in front of my husband. I want to feel comfortable to like be there I want to be able to put on a dress and a bathing suit without feeling like I have to wear a bra with it, like a bathing suit. You know, I want my boobs to be up here. But what I'm focusing on, what you just told me, was I'm not going to focus necessarily on how they look, the perfection of them. I'm not going to look for that. What I'm going to look for is, do I feel more confident? Because that is what really matters. With my arms, I think about my arms. I don't put them up. Even as a teacher, I would never want to put my arm up and tell the kids to raise their hand because they would comment. I'm going to do this. I'm going to write myself a letter, but I'm going to focus on every time I feel bad. If I look at my stretch marks or anything, I'm going to go, you know what? Are you confident to put your arms up now? Do you know that when you're brushing your hair, do you feel like you have to put your arms down because they're flapping? Like I'm going to focus my energy on the feeling that was getting removed, the negative feelings that I associate with my breasts and with my arms. And I feel like that was an aha moment for me when you just said that, because that's very empowering to think I'm going to focus on the feeling and not necessarily the aesthetic of it. Like, I just want the loose skin gone because of X, Y, and Z. And so when I have those moments, I'm going to focus on those feelings and the fact that, you know what, they're starting to diminish or they're totally gone. Like that. Thank you. That was really helpful. Like, that was something that you would never hear from somebody, right? Like, Tonya, you totally get it. Like, I just, that was a game changer for me.
That is going to help our mindset after so much, which is helping our mental, helping all the anxiety and all the, also it's the pressure too, because we're both in, and Mavi, like all three of us are in the spotlight. We're all in, like, we put our journeys out there to help others who are quieter about their journeys, but they can get some inspiration from us sharing and been like, you know, we can make them feel, the more we talk about our abnormalities and what we consider, what the world considers flaws and imperfections, the more you talk about those things out loud, the more you make other people feel normal who has those things, but they're just quieter about it. And so I think with us, there's pressure. It's the pressure of like, oh, well, she actually got a thigh lift and I can see skin above her knees still. Like, those thoughts have already gone through my head because I follow a creator who had a thigh lift, and she's even went back and already she's had a revision since then because she didn't like the results that she got. And so I've thought, like, what if I have that roll of skin above my knee still and people comment on that? You know, it's like, we have to stop striving for perfection. So, like, always the same message for all of us is it's not about perfection. This is not a vanity thing. This is not about perfection. This is about, for Teresa and I, it's continuing a journey that we've been on for years. It's all of these, you know, a weight loss journey is all of these layers, and it's, you lose the weight and then you have the skin, and what do you do with it? You either keep it or you work to get that skin removed. Those are the only options when it comes to skin, because if you lose massive amounts of weight, everyone's left with that loose skin. So Teresa and I both have decided to get our skin removed little by little. Of course, you can't do it all at once. I remember the first comment I got on the first video I posted after surgery. Now mind you, put this into perspective. You girls know what I had because you both helped me through it. I had a fleur-de-lis. I had a fat transfer into my breast with a breast lift and a lower body lift all the way around. And the very first comment that I got was, why didn't you get your arms done at the same time? Why would you leave your arms? That was the first comment. And I was like, I literally wanted to scream and delete that video. And I didn't. That video ended up going viral. But I was just like, are you kidding me? Well, one, I'm not bionic. I'm not a robot. You cannot that was at the limit. I was at the hour of surgery limit. I remember Dr. Rednam saying, like, so here's what's going to happen. We have to pick and choose. We're going to do your fleur-de-lis. We're going to do your lower body lift. But if when we get through with those things, we're out of time, we're waking you up. Like, that's it. We won't even do the breast at all. We won't do the fat transfer because of the time. Like, surgeons have so much that they have to fit into this. You can't be under anesthesia except for so many hours at a time. And I remember thinking, she was like, so do you want the lower body lift or do you want the breast? Which one do you want most? Because that's what I'm going to do second. And then if I have time to do the third, I will. But if I don't, I won't. And you'll wake up and you'll only have 2 of the 3 procedures that you want. And you have to go in understanding those things. But it's like, you can't get everything done at one time. To comment on someone's, like, why would you leave your arms? That is common sense to me. And it just shows how uneducated people are when it comes to plastic surgery. So many people, there were so many people that went back to that comment. And that's why that video took off, because they were all commenting, not to me, back to that person. Like, have you lost your mind? Like there's no way you can't get head to toe done in one sitting. It's a process. Now here Teresa is going for her third round. I'm going for my second round, and I will have a third round to finish this journey off and get my arms done at the very end of it, just like what she's doing, the arms and the breasts. And it's just such a process, and for me, like I didn't know going into this, when I started this weight loss journey, I never one time thought about skin removal. Never, not one time. I just thought about losing the weight. I never even thought I was going to even consider skin removal. And now here I am going in for my second round of it. And I think that that's an amazing thing. It just shows the growth. It shows how my mind has been changed about skin removal. It's more about skin removal, not plastics for me. And even if it's about plastics for you, though, like you have to change the way you think. Plastic surgery has that taboo around it about it's for, like what Teresa said earlier, rich people, fancy people. It's vain. It's purely for looks. You're striving for perfection. All of those things are so not true. Like they're so not true. I have a friend right now, and she's so curious about my thigh lift because she hates her thighs. And she's just like, I'm going to wait and I'm going to let you get it. And then I'm going to see. And she's like, and then I might be going to see Dr. Redden and getting my thighs done. And she was like, what would people say about that? And I was like, who cares what they say? Like, if you want to get it done and you can afford to get it done, get it done. If you think it's going to make you feel better about yourself, that's the grand scheme of it when it comes down to it. It's how much confidence is that going to be such a booster for your everyday life? When you get that massive amount of skin removed, like Teresa and I, the first surgery, of course, that's for a better quality of life. That our tummies hanging down, that apron belly, that's for quality of life. All of the things that we're adding in now, like me doing the thighs, that's cosmetic. I mean, it is for quality of life because that my thighs do rub together and I get rashes and boils and things like that. And, it's not pleasing in the summertime. I should say that we just coming off summer where it's 1,000 degrees in Oklahoma. It's horrible having to deal with the bulges of skin in between my legs. But as far as like my breasts, I didn't have to have that done. So that is something I'm adding in. You're getting your breasts and you're getting your arms, but it's that confidence boost. It's that finalization of this journey we've been on. Why would we not, if we have the opportunity to do so? We shouldn't turn those opportunities down. Don't count yourself out. You never know how much your life can change. And look at Teresa and I both now. Never thought we were plastic surgery candidates. Never even considered plastic surgery. It was, in our small town, no one gets plastic surgery that you know of. Yes, they do.
That tells you.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. People just aren't out here talking about it,
But they do. They sure do.
Yeah, they do.
I want to tell you that whenever you had your first round, that was when I started to think, I want to have a place to where I can bring them. I want to have a place that I can arrange, that I can make sure that everything that she needs or that my client needs while they're here, they have it. And watching you during your recovery, when I went to check on you those times and I saw you, I was like, I wish I could have her closer to me so I could really, be checking in on her all day. And that was one of the motivators that I had to start my own private recovery suite.
Well, now you can. So this surgery, I'm going to be in your recovery suite and you'll be with me every day. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Yes.
And this is exactly why these conversations are so important. These conversations, they help to dismantle the taboo conversations around plastic surgery and the ideas and the notions that it's inaccessible or that it's for other people. It's not. It's not. And I know that Tonya and I both been called a diva now, like since we've had people will try to make you something that you're not. And again, this whole episode has been literally the mental and emotional struggles and a survival guide really for going into battle, right? If you're going into battle, you got to prep yourself for plastic surgery and you need to know all of these things. And women, even if you're not ready for plastic surgery right now, this conversation could help you go, you know what? I just maybe I had an aha moment too. And I think honestly, we need to do a part 2 of this where we can dive deeper into it, and we can also talk about like the tangible things that
like
people
the actual
need,
things you need.
the actual things. And honestly, I think this is a stepping stone, because just like on a weight loss journey, you need to have your mental and emotional mindset ready. You need to be prepared for all of these things. And once you can start working on that, then you can move it to the next phase of actually making those things become a reality. Like, I think that's so important. And having someone like you making it so accessible and available to everybody. Like, I hope 10 years from now that we're having a different conversation and we're like, girls, look at now. Like, it's popping off. All these women feel so empowered. And Mavi has not just
Mavi's
a recovery suite,
castle.
but recovery has she has like a recovery spa. That's
recovery
like a
hotel.
Exactly. That's what is needed though. Like, I should not have to go recover by myself in an Airbnb or a hotel. I should go to a place where I know, and I'm just saying women because we're a girl tribe here, but like, I should go to a place where I know that mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, I am going to be set up for success. And there is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing selfish about that. There's nothing bougie or diva about that at all. We want all of our girls to be successful. Anybody who's on a weight loss journey, no matter what you're searching for, if you're on a plastic surgery journey, you deserve the support. You deserve the information. You deserve to have the best possible experience. And you cannot have that without these types of conversations and without someone like Mavi in your corner.
That's what I was going to say. Like, you need Mavi, someone like Mavi in your corner to get you through all of these moments where you're like, should I back out? Is this something I should really be doing? And you've got her to be like, no, girl, we're not backing out. We are doing this. We are doing this. We're doing it.
You just brought up something that I think I want to touch on, which is you're going into battle. One of those battles is negative comments, is hearing family members, people from that you thought were on your team, who all of a sudden are saying nasty things about you because you're getting surgery, or now you think you're all that, now you're all that, and they start having these negative comments. That is one of the battles that you do have to have when you're going to have surgery, because people are going to talk crap. And what I like to say is they're going to talk crap no matter what. If you're big, because you're big. If you're skinny, because you're too skinny. If you got your skin removal, because you got it removed. If you didn't, because you didn't get it removed. So it's like, you can't make anybody happy. So just do whatever it is that makes you happy. Even if it's against what your family members want. If you're safe, if you're doing your research, you're doing it with a team. If you have somebody helping you, do it. Forget what everybody else thinks. It's about
That's
you.
right.
And therein lies Mavi's mission right there. Mavi just laid it out for you guys. That right there is your mission. Go within, do your research, do your intellectual research, do all that stuff, but also go within, because at the end of the day, and I always say this and it applies here, when your head hits the pillow every single night, there's nobody inside there but you. And you have to be the one that is happy with yourself from the inside out. Mavi, we need to have you back.
To talk about the list of things you need.
We will do, guys, another episode on all the tangibles and reality practical things. We might even be able to get Mavi to put like maybe a basic survival guide list together that we can share with you guys.
I have something I can share with y'all.
Perfect. Mavi, can you drop your socials for us as well? Because everyone needs to go and follow you.
So you can find me on pretty much anywhere under Big Butts No Lies podcast. You can go to my website, www.bigbuttsnolies.com. And if you're planning to have surgery in Houston and you're looking for somewhere to stay that can take care of you, I'm going to be taking care of patients who are coming to have surgery here. They're going to get the Tonya treatment, and I'll be available. Whatever you guys need, I'm here to help you have an easy and peaceful and just calm recovery.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh, we love you, Mavi.
Wait, thank you so much, Mavi. We love you. We hope you guys not only enjoyed this episode, but found it uplifting or inspiring in some way, shape, or form. Even if you're not ready for your own plastic surgery journey, there's so many little good nuggets in this conversation that we just had. I love you, girls.
Don't count yourself out.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't count yourself out. We love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Transform Your Life podcast with Teresa and Tonya. We are two besties on a mission.
We keep it real, we keep it raw, and we get down to the nitty gritty. Buckle up, baby.